Hey everybody, it's Maxine Taylor with another Trumpology report. Today is October 11th, 2018, and today's report deals with Kavanaugh, who has been in the news. Brett Kavanaugh, as we all know, I don't have to tell you that. After the FBI investigation, he was not proven to be innocent. He wasn't proven to be guilty either. And so this situation hangs over him for the duration because there was no conclusion. So I wanted to look at his chart and just kind of get an idea of what was going on. Now, yesterday I looked at his chart and I'm going to share it with you. And I found something very, very interesting. So before I jump into that, got a couple of announcements, and then I promise I will share a very simplified version of Brett Kavanaugh's forecast. All right. First of all, I want to thank all of you who are so supportive of my Trumpology report and my weekly forecasts. Many of you, as I do, want to create a world of love, a world of peace, a world of equality, of respect, abundance, health. I know you're out there, I've met you, and I'm thrilled when I read your posts because they're very encouraging. There are also some of you who are not. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you post something and you are rude, crude, lewd, or just plain crazy, there's a very good chance you will be deleted. Your post will be deleted and you will be blocked. It's that simple. You are entitled to your opinion just as I am entitled to mine. However, if you're going to be rude, crude, lewd, or crazy, you are not invited to post on my YouTube channel. Okay. Tomorrow, my brand new special will be launched. That's Friday, the 12th. My Crazy Holidays, and that's spelled D-A-Z-E, special. Check my website, MaxineTaylor.com, and you'll see it there. Now, let's get back to Brett Kavanaugh. We do not have a birth time for him, and I'm wondering if anyone out there does. I'm not talking about a rectified birth time because I started studying astrology in 1966, and I have never in all that time found any two astrologers to rectify a birth time and come up with the same chart. So my feeling is that rectified charts work for the astrologer, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm looking for his actual birth time, hopefully on the birth certificate. If anyone out there has that or has access to it, if you send it to me, I will give you credit, or if you prefer to remain anonymous, I will do that too. Thank you very, very much. The other thing I'm interested in is that Kavanaugh was sworn in an evening ceremony on October 6th. I did not know that they were going to do it that quickly, or I would have videoed it. If you videoed it, if you watched it, if you have the exact time that the swearing in ended, in other words, that would be the time, if it were a wedding, where the officiant would say, "I now pronounce you man and wife." This would be congratulations, welcome to the Supreme Court, that type of thing. If you have that, please share it. I will respect your desire for anonymity or give you full and complete credit for it. Okay. So here's what went on yesterday. I looked at the chart, at his chart, and I had something that I had to share. So I turned on my laptop, and the battery would not do its thing. It wouldn't charge. Now, here in Atlanta, yesterday, we experienced tornado-like weather. And by the time I sat down to do this particular Trumpology report, it was starting to pour out there. And I ran and got a new wire, a new cord, got it set up when I came home in the middle of torrential rain. And so I was very frustrated because I was totally wiped out and could not do anything after that. And then, of course, all night it rained. So this morning, well, actually, it was last night, a friend of mine told me what I'm going to share with you astrologically. Apparently, Chief Justice Roberts requested that the 10th Circuit review more than 12 ethics complaints that have been made against Brett Kavanaugh, not relating to the sexual allegations, but to his behavior at the Senate Judiciary Committee on September 27th. And to quote him, to quote the article, they said, and I'm paraphrasing, that it was not suited for a Supreme Court justice. He had an attitude of entitlement and self-pity. Okay, so when I heard that, I knew, and I wish I had been able to do this reading for you, but once again, my computer was not cooperating. I wanted to do it last night for you. Rachel Maddow also reported on this. So I'm going to keep this very, very simple. Astrologers, I know we've got the eclipses, we've got the other transits going on, but rule number one, you never begin a new project on a retrograde Venus or a retrograde Mercury. Kavanaugh was sworn in on October 6th. Venus went retrograde October 5th. Where did it go retrograde in his birth chart? In his 10th house of his career and his public image. Now, Venus, you may be saying, is the lesser benefic. It's one of the good guys. Jupiter is the great benefic. Venus is the lesser benefic. Venus rules love and money and popularity and art and all things beautiful. And so wherever it is in your chart, it is a blessing. It brings wonderful things. And so here is Brett Kavanaugh with Venus in his 10th house. He's, on the Supreme Court, and they're swearing him in on a Venus retrograde. All right. Now, Venus is going to, because it's retrograde, it appears to be moving backwards. Now, Venus retrograde is like a Mercury retrograde. Everything is confused, particularly in the area where it goes retrograde. Now, this is a solar chart because we do not have an exact birth time for Brett Kavanaugh. However, you'll see the solar chart at work. Venus is going to back up into his 9th house of the higher courts, of the higher mind, and it's going to sit there for a while. And then it's going to go direct on November 16th. It will then move back into his 10th house. No longer retrograde, so that the power of Venus will be functioning fully. And on December 28th, it sits on his Neptune. Now, Neptune is wishful thinking, it's escapism, it's drama. or it is the dream come true. We never know with Neptune how it's going to manifest. In his birth chart, it squares Venus, it squares Mercury, and it squares the sun. So he's a very good actor. He's also imbued with ideals. And there can be a certain amount of wishful thinking and make-believe when Neptune afflicts our Sun, our Mercury, and our Venus, and not just Sun, Mercury, and Venus. So does this mean that the investigation is going to take till the end of December? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. However, this can be the dream come true. Now, during this time, Mars is going to sit on his Venus, Mercury, and Sun. Venus on the 10th, which was yesterday of October, Mercury on the 23rd of October, and the Sun on November 4th. Mars is anger. It's in his first house of who he is. So he's not going down quietly. And he may not go down. In other words, it may not turn out that way, because when Venus goes into his 10th house, crosses his solar midheaven, he can be absolved or exonerated. Once again, not of the sexual allegations. That will be a taint that he will carry for some time. And as time goes by, of course, that will diminish, because people forget, people let things go. Other situations come up that offset it. You hear what I'm saying? But right now, there are a group of people who are very, very upset, and a group of people who are very, very happy. Our country is polarized. The 48 to 50 vote, let's see, 1881 was the last time it was so low. And well, actually it was lower. This is the second time it has been that low since 1881. So we are truly divided. And this is why I understand everybody has their own opinion. And you may, of course, express it, if you do so kindly, respectfully, lovingly. You get my drift. So Mars, he's fighting for himself. Understandably, Mars is going to cross into his second house of money and values on November 18th, and it will sit on his Saturn November 26th. Now, does this involve the investigation? I don't know, because he has a life beyond this. Now, he is being investigated like crazy. Of course it's karmic. Naturally it's karmic. And we won't know the outcome until we get the outcome. However, Venus, being the lesser benefic when it moves into the 10th house, can do beautiful things for his public image. All right. Now, let's look at Mercury. Because Venus is now retrograde, it will go direct on November 16th. Mercury goes retrograde the 17th of November and stays retrograde till December. It goes stationary direct on the 6th of December, so it goes forward on the 7th. So from, let's see, October 5th and 6th, right in that time period, Venus went retrograde, because that's when he was sworn in. So we feel this about a week ahead. So let's say from October 1st until December 7th, Venus and Mercury are taking turns tag teaming the world. You're not going to start a new project while Venus is retrograde. You're not going to start a new project while Mercury is retrograde, because that either fizzles out completely or has to be redone within the year. So let's look at Mercury. Well, it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth from the 10th house of his public image to the 11th house of his hopes, his wishes, and groups to which he might belong. And then, of course, the first group that comes to my mind is the Supreme Court. And let me see this clearly. Mercury will sit on Neptune October 23rd. Interestingly enough, and I'm just jumping over here for a second, that's when the sun crosses his midheaven, and this can bring him fame and recognition. Okay, this can be the start of the beginning of the end of all of these investigations into his life. We're going to have to wait and see how that shakes out. But his public image is going to be enhanced, of course, when Venus is in his 10th house, when Mercury is there, and when the sun is there. And of course, Trump wants him to remain on the Supreme Court. As far as I know, I would assume as much. And many of the people in his party want that. So I would imagine they would bring it about. I thought that was very politically correct of me. Okay, so Mercury's going to go back and forth from the 10th house of his career into the 11th of friends, hopes, wishes, group activities, and it's going to back up again. And then on December 7th, it goes direct. Yay. And ultimately, let's see, do I have a date for that? Yes. The final pass is December 13th. I'm going to put that in here right now. December 13th, it crosses into his 11th house. On December 29th, my sister's birthday, it will sit on his south node. Now, the area of loss is the south node. We know that. Traditionally, I don't interpret a birth chart that way because it's what you've mastered in past lives. And so you're instinctively drawn to it. However, if you spend too much time there, it can be draining on you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So that's what we got going on with Mercury. Now, as I mentioned, here's the sun. Right now, it's in the 9th house. On the 23rd of October, which is just around the corner, it will move into his 10th house of his public image. So this will enhance his public image in the world. It will sit on his Neptune, make-believe, wishful thinking, high drama. Actually, I was going to say you need Mars for high drama, but no, Neptune can carry that off all by itself. This will mark either the dream come true or a great deal of obfuscation and wishful thinking. Neptune, trying to grab hold of Neptune, as I've said before, is like trying to grab hold of get a handful of smoke. You can't do that. On the 22nd of November, it moves into the 11th house, friends, group activities, hopes and wishes. On December 13th and 14th, it sits on his south node. Now, the sun is the giver of life. It opens up whatever area it touches. So this can be, this can shine a light on his hopes and wishes, on the groups to which he belongs. And it could very well be that if it is a letting go on some level, that it will be the best thing for him to do, depending on what they uncover. And then on December 22nd, the sun moves into his solar 12th house, and he wants solitude and privacy and all that good stuff. So let me make sure I've covered everything. I believe I have. There is so much more to a forecast. Many of you know that. You are astrologers or astrology students. On this YouTube channel, I want to keep it very, very simple so that those people who don't understand astrology can follow along. So I hope this has been helpful. I do welcome your feedback, your comments. And again, if anybody out there has got Brett Kavanaugh's birth time, I would love to be able to do his real, accurate birth chart. And so, dear friends, it's going to be a little crazy with Mercury and Venus retrograde. You're going to want to get a copy of my Crazy Holidays special. Just check my website tomorrow. And until we meet again, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now.